Now, we've got to talk about Cavalry, Mitchell. 0-0 against Vancouver FC on Sunday night. And if we just look at their last few games in all comps, 1-1 against Vancouver on Wednesday or Tuesday night, 2-0 loss at home to Atletico Ottawa before that, 1-0 win at home against Pacific, and 1-1 in Halifax before that. That's 3 goals scored in their last 5 games, one of which came off, and their only goal in the last 3 games came off Aiden O'Connor's butt in that CanChamp game.
He said butt.
I did. I'm a little concerned about this for Cavalry, right? Toby Warshevsky, no goals, no assists since the start of June. Ali Musi, just the 1 goal since the start of June. This team is traditionally one of the scariest attacking teams in the Canadian Premier League. The goals have kind of dried up in the last few months, and it's not just us saying it. People from Cavalry are saying that too. Tommy Wheeldon Jr. talked about it last night after that game against Vancouver, and that's where we're going to start this segment. Let's hear from Tommy because he knows better than we do.
A goal. It's that simple. How many chances? Reality is we're taking too many touches in the box. Miao's had one at the end. Cobbs has had one on the goal line. Sergio's had a chance. Veiling's broke away. It's not through a lack of creating. It's just a clinical edge, and I think that's something that we have to rectify for the second half of the season.
Certainly is. Mitch, what do you see specifically with Cavalry that, I don't know, is there something different from earlier in the season where they were scoring much more, or is it literally just the ball just for some reason isn't going in?
I think the big difference for me is you look at the way they were scoring goals earlier in the season, and 90% of them were in transition. They were in those games where they were scoring first, obviously, which teams have done a much better job of not allowing them to start games on the front foot and score those early goals. And once you do that, you limit a lot of what Cavalry can do, where they're still going to maybe get a few transitional opportunities because they're that good. And we saw it again against Vancouver, but you're able to deal with them when there's a lot fewer of them. And when you don't have to be as desperate in going forward and trying to press, how many times do we see a game that's 1-0 and all of a sudden, Cavalry blow it open late because they're going the other way and there's all these spaces and they make it a 3-4-0 game. That's just not happening anymore because they're not leading. So other teams don't have to worry about that. And that's one thing Vancouver FC have done. They haven't allowed them to score first all season, and that's why they haven't been defeated by them. So I think transitional opportunities is a big part of it, obviously. And then, that secondary scoring, obviously you talked about those top guys not scoring. And that's one thing, you count on Warshevsky, count on Musi and Camargo to be your guys. That's what they've been over the years. But something Fraser Aird was saying after the game is, okay, of course, he called him the striker, but we can all assume it. He was talking about Tobias Warshevsky. He's not scoring right now, but we need other guys to step up. You look at Maël Henry in this game, unable to do so. We've seen some good things from Nicholas Veiling, and he's been kind of played all over the roster, but he in this game had some good opportunities, wasn't able to do it. Jay Herdman hasn't been contributing as much as I think we thought off the bench. Kenija Alba's had some bright moments, but he also hasn't been consistently prolific. So when your main guys aren't scoring and the secondary scoring isn't there as well right now, it's there's a lot of concerns. And a final thing I think that we haven't seen that's been a traditional Cavalry statement is those set pieces. Yeah, and obviously the loss of Leon Hapgood is always going to affect this, but there's also the loss of their primary target, which is Dan Klomp, who is the guy on set pieces for them. How many Musi to Klomp whipped in corners or free kicks have we seen over the years? They haven't found a way to replicate that, and we haven't seen that signature Cavalry set piece goal this season. So I think there's a lot of different avenues, and the good thing again is there are so many different ways they can fix this problem. It's not just one thing that's going wrong, and they are creating chances. They certainly had some excellent opportunities to win this game, but yeah, it is a concern because we've seen it for a good stretch of time now, and it's a big reason why they aren't. Why really we weren't talking about them earlier in the show in that title race, because this weekend, they really could have closed a big gap, and they can't, and it's because they can't score.
Yeah, the last goal that we can even kind of call a set piece goal for Cavalry was June 8th against York. That was the Camargo one where it was like a third or fourth phase of the set piece, and York just weren't able to clear it. It was a good ball in, but again, like it's kind of a loose ball and a bit more of a broken play. So that is a little interesting to watch with Cavalry. I will also say that they've been changing quite a lot on the left wing specifically. Jay Herdman against Vancouver. It was Gareth Semenkov in the Can Champ. Mael Henry against Vancouver. It was Jay Herdman the week before against Ottawa, and Toby Warshevsky before that when Kenija Elva was up top. So, again, kind of trying to look for who's going to really make that left wing spot their own is another thing to watch with Cavalry. But again, I'm sure that this is kind of a slump. You go through slumps in a season every time. But definitely something that Tommy Wilden Jr. and his staff will be wanting to sort out very, very quickly, because we can see that they are a little frustrated with some of these games last week. Again, like lots of 12 shots against Vancouver, 2 on target, 34 touches in the box. Even Tommy, I think, has said that they're spending too much time in the box without shooting, right? So again, that comes down to execution. It comes down to confidence. It comes down to players, individuals taking that moment to shoot when you're in a decent position, because when you shoot, sometimes the ball goes in.